they found where the altar was before in the temple that was destroyed. They built another altar there. They made sacrifices there, thank offerings to the Lord their God. The gates and the courts, all that stuff wasn't built yet. The next thing they did is they laid the foundations for the temple. And this was going to be the center of their city, the center of their civilization again. This place of offering and worship before the Lord. So they laid the foundations of the temple. And it says in the book of Ezra that the priests, they stood there in their holy apparel. They stood there with their trumpets. And the Levites and the sons of Asaph, they were there with their cymbals. And they praised the Lord just the way that King David had taught them to praise the Lord. And they sang, praising and giving thanks to the Lord again, saying, "You are good, and your love endures forever." All the people shouted with a great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid. And so we really believe this is the word of the Lord tonight. We want to come into His gates with thanksgiving. We want to come into His courts with praise. We want to proclaim that He is good. His love endures forever. But more than that, tonight, this place is becoming the altar for the city.
Amen.
This is going to be the foundation of the renewal of the city of Atlanta. And we're starting with Atlanta. We're going to praise the good name of the Lord tonight, prophetically, that as we build the foundation on worship and praise, He will renew the city for His name and His fame. It starts with worship. It starts with praise. So we stand here as the people of God, gladly saying we can build that foundation tonight. We know that the Lord is good.